Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 6. And yes, we're going to address all the criticism. Huge letdown this week. If you guys notice, that is a play on words because there's a big beer that was let down. So I thought huge letdown would be appropriate for tonight. You'll see what I mean by that. We're going to have a little bit of fun with some of the dialogue. I found that when we criticize either The Walking Dead or Fear, because we are such big fans, we might as well just take it head on. I mean, not everybody disliked everything about it, but there's some humor if we look at it the right way. Before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to all the patrons, Patron Army in the house. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Absolutely amazing group of people, and we got some good stuff. So we are going to fear the beer tonight, and I don't know about you guys, but I just want to start first and foremost. Did anybody see anything I don't know, just remotely strange about the big floating beer balloon? Anything just kind of stand out about that beer balloon? We got E-Beach in the house. Good evening, Army. It will be, Eric. And I think that's why it's fair to discuss it from a critical standpoint, because we know the show is going to be good. We know that we're fans. We're not discussing from a standpoint of it's terrible. Some people said pristine, ridiculous. Yeah, it was a light. I get it. I get the puns. Oversized. All right. Do you guys see the little section down at the bottom of the beer? Some people saying perfect. I get all that. Perfect condition. But see the little section that would be Strand and Charlie? How tall do you guys think Strand is, roughly? I mean, I would say at least 6 foot. Okay? If Strand is 6 foot, anybody want to approximate how tall that balloon is? And we got a brand new member in the house, Catface Killer. And also I saw Cherilyn Tuck as well. So a couple new members. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys joining, being a part of the green team. All right. If you were to go to scale, and I took I wasn't exact, but I took a mouse cursor and roughly scaled it out, that balloon is around 100 feet. Leanne says it's 999 feet tall. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's about 100 feet based on the diagram. Exactly, Crystal. 100 feet. Even if your average, what is your average story building for one story? Can anybody look that up? A typical story is 10 foot a story? Okay, if 10 foot is a story, that means that this beer is 10 stories high. No way. I don't know a lot about flying hot air balloons, but I know if that was to scale, this would be the equivalent of a 10-story building. All right. I'm going to take some of the material tonight. Earlier, Ellis brought up, there's an article out there by Paul Tassi. I'm not a big fan. Sorry, Paul. If you watch, Paul is a contributor for Forbes, and I've just read some of his articles in the past where I thought he bashed the show unfairly. Now, he might have bashed the show fairly this week, but there's a better one for a contributor from Forbes, and his name is Eric Kane. And Eric might be watching, but I'm going to pull some material from Eric's article. So if you guys get a chance, check this out. It is absolutely hilarious. Just the way he wrote it, it's kind of a... It's you'll see what I'm talking about when I read some of the lines. It reminded me of us, the way we talk about things and the way we're sort of funny critical. But this is pretty good. So let me pull out a couple of his lines. So and I'll read them verbatim. So first off, the premise of this season is atrocious. Morgan and his band of heroes have refashioned themselves into the zombie apocalypse Good Samaritans. They help random people in need, whether or not those people need to be helped. So that was one of the, and if you guys agree with some of the things that I'm reading, then certainly chime in. If you disagree with what Eric's saying, then that's fine too. I did find there was a lot of stuff that I agreed with because he approached it from really a nature of humor. So he says, this point really hit home with me about the season. So they fly a plane off somewhere to help somebody despite not knowing how to fly it, and it crashes, and now they're stranded in an area that just so happens to be the scene of a nuclear meltdown. All right. I mean, the irony of this season should not be lost. So they fly a plane, not knowing how to fly a plane, to help people that may not know that they need help, and they just happen to crash close to a nuclear reactor plant. You can't script this any more outrageously. And we've said in the past, like, this is Fear the Walking Dead outrageous, but when you take a step back from it, it's even a little bit more magnified. Next line. Turns out the whole thing was a trick to get them away from the mill, which is then taken over by a guy we haven't seen since the first episode, who says it was his to begin with. I guess the conflict with this guy will occupy the second half of this miserable season. So once again, I think he's right on point. Miserable might be a little bit overboard, a little bit more condescending, but let's not forget it's Logan. So Logan did have a trick to get them away, to fly a plane that they don't know how to fly. They happened to crash in a place with a nuclear reactor, and we still don't know what's going on with Logan. Tom Ferreira says, hopefully Max Headroom comes back. Yeah, I mean, we will see him again. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. All right, so how many people are pretty much on board and agree with this guy Eric so far? How many think he's a little bit too harsh on Fear the Walking Dead? That he should have softened it up a little bit? Okay, so we're good. If you guys agree so far, just a quick like button. Jim says he's a little too harsh. Princess Pie says a little bit too harsh, but it gets better. It gets better. Okay, next bullet point. They meet some kids, a whole colony of lost boys and girls who survived when their parents were killed by radioactive zombies or the radiation, and Morgan and Alicia really want them to come back with them on their death trap plane they started rebuilding in tonight's episode. So, once again, hey, we don't know how to fly the plane. Come back with us and get on the plane. Tom Ferreira, Logan so far is my favorite Fear the Walking Dead villain. Tom, I think he could be a good villain, but they haven't had a lot of great villains so far. So far, I'm 4 points into this guy, and he's great. All right, so here's bullet point number 5. After the plane's death trap, he says, the kids are too smart for this nonsense. They're like, do you idiots even know how to rebuild a plane properly, let alone fly the damn thing? Oh, I think we'll stay here on solid ground, contend with the growlers and radiation. So the kids think that it's better to stay on the plane because there's flying propellers, they don't know how to fly it, and they would rather deal with the growlers and the radiation. I'm 5 for 5 with Eric Kane so far. 5 for 5. The kids are smarter staying on the ground than the adults trying to get on a plane that nobody knows how to fly. All right, next point. But wait, that Lady Grace is back, and she's going to do some stuff at the nuclear plant. Buy them some more time, or some nonsense. This is his writing just cracks me up. Morgan wants to help, but he remembers he needs to go back to the truck, stop, and give another stupid speech about not running from things. I can't read this without laughing, because we talk about Morgan's speeches. So Morgan wants to help, but he remembers he needs to go back to the truck, stop, and give another stupid speech about not running from things, and making up for past sins, and blah, 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 blah. Shoot me now. Once again, he's there. I mean, it could not have been more accurate. Next bullet point. The kids run off, and Alicia goes after them. She's going to rescue those darn kids if she has to kill them to do it. All right. I'm having too much fun with this. I told you guys we're gonna criticize the show tonight, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun with the article as well. So please don't come in here and be sensitive and think that we're Fear the Walking Dead haters, because so far this has been exactly the way it's played out, and we know it's got some humor to it. All right, next one. This has some great lines in it. All right, if I laugh halfway through, you got to forgive me. John, Dory, and Dwight are off looking for Dwight's missing wife, Sherry, who's the only... All right, there you go. We're going to reset here. So John and Dwight are looking for Dwight's wife, Sherry, who is the one person on the show that just doesn't turn up out of nowhere suddenly. Is that not the most accurate point? Like, all these people keep showing up over and over again, except Sherry. Sherry's the one person that just doesn't pop up and say, hey, I'm here. She doesn't really know that they're even looking for her, does she? For all she knows, he's back at the sanctuary with Negan pressing some laundry. For all she knows, he's dead. Another amazing point. He could be back at the sanctuary pressing laundry with Negan. I mean, those are the major bullet points. So yeah, and he says the end is boring, ridiculous, episode filled with characters who make no sense and a plot that is beyond contrived. The show somehow manages to jump the shark even further by having Strand and Charlie show up in what is clearly a fake hot air balloon with two propellers strapped to the side of the basket. That will somehow magically fit into either a totally different plane that our non-engineer cast survivors miraculously knows how to fix. There are propellers on the side of the basket somehow. All right, Princess Pie, super chatting, says this article is so funny. Thanks for sharing, Kills. It has a good laugh about the episode. Hearing you laughing is a cure for the mood and love and support for the 999 Army. Pink super chat mode. So certainly, thank you so much for that, Princess Pie. I'm having a good. There were some people that were critical of Fear, and they really made it personal. I give the writers a pass from time to time. However, I did score it as one of the lowest episodes I've seen, and the only episode that I remember, to be frank, that was worse than this one was the episode about the dam in season 3, and I've mentioned that several times on these streams. That was just one big circle. But of all the Fear Walking Dead, even 1, 2, and 3, this was one of the worst. Princess Pie, sorry, forgot a 9. It's okay. We are the 999 Army. They underestimate radiation. All right. Let me read the second half of this paragraph. Thank you so much, Princess Pie. I appreciate that. So they're talking about the hot air balloon. It looks so ridiculous. Why didn't they just get a regular hot air balloon and have a beer logo on the side of it? Instead of a 100-foot blow-up balloon, that's a great point, right? Why didn't they just get a regular hot air balloon with a logo? It certainly would have been cheaper. Tom Ferreira, Biggest con about this season, not enough skid mark. They could have actually filmed Strand and Charlie in a real hot air balloon, and the whole thing might not have looked so fake. But they run out of fuel before they make it all the way. I'm still unclear how they found the right spot to begin with, and they crash land into the wrong neck of woods because crash landing is the best these jokers can do. Not there! Morgan pleads into his walkie-talkie. The radioactive walkers are going to bleed on you. No! Or something to that effect. Naturally, there are walkers ready to confound them. Whatever will they do? And will Alicia be able to knock some more sense into those darn kids? Will Luciana finally get a personality? Will we ever get out of this region of Texas where all the roads leading out have somehow been destroyed? Sorry, folks. We don't know until next week. And then he is a little bit more critical. That's just awful TV. There's no two ways about it. There's really nothing about this episode that I can find redeeming or interesting or worth watching. We're 6 episodes into Season 5. While it may not be quite as bad as the second half of Season 4, it's just so boring. I can barely stay focused watching it. Last week's episode had some really good moments. That was still kind of boring overall, but tonight's episode was just bad. That includes John Dory not being honest with Dwight. By the way, it's just plain out of character and a pretty lousy thing to do. But hey, I guess we're all just helping people now at any cost. And Eric Kane went on to make some bold predictions. And I'm going to read you his bold predictions in a second. Those are not my comments. I am reading verbatim, line for line, from Forbes article written by Eric Kane. So, a couple more thoughts up to this point, and then we'll get into some of his predictions. I didn't read through line by line all the predictions, but I'm sure he's got some humor in there. Uncle Creepy says, could most of the season just be filler to get from point A to point B in whatever final storyline they're trying to pull off? Certainly it is, but their choice of transportation has left a lot to be desired. I mean, we got planes crashing, hot air balloons, helicopters. I mean, we're just missing some parachutes. Yes, Jim, I'm very annoyed by the kids. Yeah, see, Uncle Creepy, and that is where we started talking a little bit about this last season. And some people disagreed because they didn't like it. But the one thing that I noticed at the beginning of Season 4 is that when Fear the Walking Dead went to the wide-angled shots and they went to the new characters and the Western theme, they added humor to it. And the reason I thought that was good at the time and why I really, really liked Season 4 is because I wasn't tuning in as much just to see who died. I was tuning in more to see what crazy coincidences were out there. Because in the first 3 seasons, the coincidences were unplanned and they were stale. But when they did it, it did become comical. And I did love the humor. They might be pushing the envelope a little bit too much. Tom Ferrer says, I think we're about to meet Mr. Burns. Who's Mr. Burns? Is that Dwight? Mr. Burns? No, yeah. I got it. The only thing that could make the show worse is Kill's singing. It's pretty rough. Well, you know what, Chris? At least tonight is not random things. So, Eric, Kills, what's the end game for this season? Eric, I think the end game is two. I think it is to make Logan the worst villain we've seen on Fear the Walking Dead and to transition into the movie. I think those are the two things. And I do agree with Uncle Creepy that a lot of the first half, I wouldn't say filler. I would say they're relying on the bizarre and the action, and they don't have enough of it. So we're getting an overabundance of speeches and plots around these kids and repetitive stuff. So how many people think it's time to see a big death? That this week in episode 7, that we finally get to write off somebody. Yeah, it's coming soon. Yeah, just checking out some comments. All right, I'm gonna get back to this article in a second. What month does summer start in? Officially. Okay, who's going to be the first to die? There you go. Okay, it's scrolling up on the screen. Thanks. We're unanimous. All right. We're going to get back to the article. It was a trap. Let's make some predictions. This is not my predictions. This is, once again, from the Forbes article, so I'm going to read a couple things here. He says, the survivors will spend the next week saving Strand and Charlie and then lug those propellers back to camp. Alicia will spend this episode convincing the kids to come with them in their death trap plane. She will give them a speech and maybe talk about Madison or something. Wow. That felt as if I could have written it. How many people think 100% spot on? They save Charlie and Strand, get the propellers back. They just happen to be on the side of this hot air balloon. Alicia gets the kids and gives them a speech and talks about... We're going to get another Alicia speech, right? All right, second prediction. It won't be until the mid-season finale that they actually manage to fly out. Something with the nuclear plant will happen, stymieing their progress. Also, something with Dwight, but they'll ultimately fly out of there. That sounds pretty accurate, too. All right, next question. Tom Ferrer says, the kids ain't done anything too bad, so I'm not too mad. They ain't bad, so don't be mad. All right, Eric Kane wants to know, will they bring the kids? And he says, I'm going to say the kids decide to go, but something goes wrong, and they all die except maybe the 3 main ones. Well, they ain't all fitting on that plane, are they? It's actually kind of a good point. Catface Killer super chat and says, Dwight won't want to leave because of Sherry. Hugh John. So, Dwight won't want to leave because of Sherry. And then John, who showed him the Scrabble pieces, goes back to him and said, I was just lying to you all this time. And Dwight wants to kill John, but instead June takes a bullet for the team, and June dies. Leading to Dwight having to run away. And then John becomes a badass and Dwight becomes a villain. No, I'm just thinking out loud. That's not his prediction. All right, back to his prediction. His are funnier. He says, the plane will totally crash land back near the mill and will end the first half of the season with some kind of confrontation, probably via radio, between the dude at the mill, whose name I've forgotten, which is Logan. I'll help him with that. And Morgan, who will want to just hug it all out. We'll probably hear something about how everyone can be redeemed. We've all done bad things, but helping people and being good will fix the karmic rut everyone is in. That's how it works, right? So they'll want to fight, but Morgan will just want to forgive everybody. And then his last paragraph says, oh man, I can't wait. Really looking forward to this half of the season ending. Remember when this was a show about the Clark family and we had interesting conflicts with morally ambiguous characters? Yeah, well, none of that holds a candle to Morgan making speeches and singing Kumbaya. It's very well written. All right, Princess Pie. If they keep staying in the same loop, the season will be full of poop. Oh, wait a minute. So, Princess Pie came up with her own rhyme for a night that we don't have rhyme time. Princess Pie, everybody just has one question for you, and that is, what rhymes with tomorrow? Enough said. I agree. Chris, Dwight needs to walk back to The Walking Dead. They need him. E-Beach, Dwight shoots June. John will go Terminator mode. What do you guys think? We got some people nominating Princess Pie for a Kills coin. What does the green team think? You guys think that's a worthy comment? Doing rhyme time on a non-rhyme time night? I could agree with that. We haven't given away a Kills coin this week for Freestyle Friday. If we can light up the screen, if we can get the green team to do it, there we go. There we go. All right. Kel, add it to the ledger. No, Tom. I think Chris was just being he's being facetious. Dwight's character is not coming back to The Walking Dead. But whether I don't think that with everything that Dwight's been through, I don't think that he's going to be forgiving of John lying to him. To the movies, maybe. Dwight's not going anywhere from a death perspective, and I just don't see that happening. I mean, look, from a rage standpoint, I could get, if Dwight accidentally shot June or something, I could see John wanting to kill Dwight. From a character standpoint, there's no way I could see Dwight dying and them keeping John and June around. The only thing I'm surprised with this article, there's only one thing that he didn't mention that would have made that article perfect, is he didn't talk about the long, drawn-out love affair between John and June. I would have liked to have seen that. Tom Ferreira, what if the mid-season finale ends with Dwight fighting John? Well, I think that's a fair question. I mean, do you guys think that because of the fact that John is keeping secrets from Dwight, you think that they're just going to be happy about it? I mean, that all's just going to be forgiven? Or do you think that that is a major kind of a plot boost going forward, that there's all these... I think there's a lot of secrets going on. And I think the second half is going to be... Well, let me put it this way. I think it was last season of The Walking Dead, there were some interviews with Angela Kang, Norman Reedus, and it might have been Ross. And they said one of the major plots for The Walking Dead, the first half, was about how the group has rebuilt, and it's about a lack of trust with everybody. Like, you look over and you don't know who's on your side, who's not on your side. And if you think about that, that was a big part of the story, right? I mean, can Rick trust Carol? Can Maggie trust Daryl? And so on and so forth. It was just all about who was looking over whose shoulder. So I think that they're trying to borrow a little bit of that for Fear the Walking Dead. That you've got all these secrets kind of being held. Now, in fairness, we got some of that with the videotapes. Because Althea's had these tapes, and she knows a little bit more about the world, and she knows about other people. And for whatever reason, no one's approached her and said, I'd like to watch these tapes. One night while she was sleeping, a couple people bored. Hey, let's see what she's got on these tapes. Let's see what she was recording. And exactly, Viola. And now she's keeping the biggest secret. So you've got Althea, who knows exactly what these helicopter people are all about, what their agenda is, what their firepower is. She's not bugged. They're not listening into her conversation. But she's lying about it. So, how many of you if you knew what Althea knew, and there's only two people around you, and basically Isabel said to you, look, you forget about us, you destroy the evidence, you don't talk to anybody, because we will kill them all, we'll put them all in jeopardy. So, how many of you would just lie to Alicia and Morgan and say, like, when Alicia says, did you see the helicopter? Did you find out anything about... No, I just got here. I just missed it. So, I think it's fair to say that at least one or two of you would say, all right, and I'll give you an example. And let me get to Tom Ferrer's Super Chat. The whole things with the tapes reminded me of Marble Hornets. What is a marble hornet? I don't know that a hornet made out of marble would be able to fly very, very high. Because I think marble would like weigh a hornet down. I'm going to need some clarification on that. But we got some good points out there. So, I mean, let's just say, for argument's sake, me, Gina Crockett, Ocean Man, you know, three of us. You know, Ocean Man, Gina Crockett, they've been looking for me. I've been a little lost. And I knew about the helicopter people. And I come back, and Ocean Man says to me, hey, Kills, did you see anything, you know, with those helicopter people? I'd probably say, come here a second. I got to tell you something. There's a lot of people there. They got a lot of firepower. We can't talk about it because if we try to go find them or attack them, they've got they got 3 different crews that will come in and mow us down. So it's best that we just keep walking in the other direction and not make a big deal about it. If you want to go find them, you're on your own, pal. I'm not going to help you because I've already seen what they can do and they gave me a pass. But I don't think I would be like, nope, never heard of them. So we got that going on. All right, Tom, I'm going to look it up. So YouTube horror series, A Marble Hornet. All right, I'm going to take your word for it. I have not seen it. But Gina, exactly, right? Gina says it's safer for the group to know that they are dangerous. So, strike one. So, Althea disappears for a few days. Now, I got a question for the Army. How many people thought that Morgan and Althea bought that crap Morgan and Alicia bought Althea's story way too soon? All right. So I need a volunteer. Kel, you can be a volunteer. So Kel has been gone for a week. And the last time I heard from Kel, it was like a desperation. It was like, hey, Kills, I found something. It's this walker. They're very, you know, and then you hear this buzzing sound. Kel? Oh my God, everybody. Kel's gone. We got to go find her. So for like a week, I get all of you guys together. And we're going around. We're going crazy. We're trying to find Kel. Can't find her here. She's out rock climbing. She drinks a beer. She kisses a girl. There's a whole lot of things going on, right? And then out of the blue, turns back on the radio. Kills? Come in. Kills. Kel, are you there? Okay. Oh, you're right around the other corner of the woods. And then I asked the question, what happened with that strange walker? Nah, the false alarm. And then one of you say, well, hey, what about, nope, just missed it. All right, at that point, I'm buzzing in. Hell no. I would tell Kel you need to tell me the truth right now. We've been looking for you for a week. I've had to put up with these whiny little kids. A helicopter almost took out some people. There's hot air balloons flying. There's all kind of things going on at this point, and you just disappear for a week and just show back up. You need to tell me what you were eating for the week. Where's the beer? How did you survive? Was there water? I mean, there's a whole list of questions that I have for you, and it's not just, nope, I was over there in the corner a little bit lost in the woods. And then, oh, you got all these kids. Yeah, more new people. No! And then you need to explain what all these new people are doing. So, that is a great point. Heart of Nixie. So, Morgan and Alicia combined are not smart enough to know that Althea is keeping something and they need to get to the bottom of it before they get back to camp. But who is? Who's smart enough to know that there's something going on that Althea needs to talk about? June. And June just opens up the door out of nowhere like, you're not yourself. There was a time that when I needed somebody to talk to, it helped. It was better. You can talk to me. Can we get back to the propeller? Like, just totally shuts her down. Nothing to do with it. Cheryl and Tuck just want to say, love all y'all. Hashtag 999 Army. Now, that is good. So, let me get back to Eric Beach's point a little bit early. You guys are going to see there's a method to my jumping around and my madness. Because, Eric, I'm not going to say I think you're on to something. I hope you were on to something. Because how awesome would it be if this happened? All right. You guys are going to do me a favor. Everybody here, hit the like button. And I'm going to give you super crazy prediction. Not even a bold prediction. But if this happened this way, oh man, it would be some of the best writing in Fear the Walking Dead history. So if you guys want to hear it, give me a quick 999. I'm going to take something that Eric Beach said about 5 minutes ago, and I'm going to turn it into the story of the future for Fear the Walking Dead. All right. Here it is. So, the reason that Al did not tell Morgan and Alicia, maybe they are listening somehow. Isabel was very careful to say, do not endanger your friends. So how cool would it be if June, because June is prying, and Al has confidence in June, and she spills the beans to June, that the Commonwealth takes out June as an example to prove a point to Althea that she should not have violated their trust. There you go. Then we get June off the record. We set up a storyline with the Commonwealth. We know that we need to leave them alone. We transition a story to the movie, and then they get the heck out, go back, and deal with the second half of the story of Logan. So it can get them away from this area. They're like, you know what? We're done. Time to run. I mean, it is a little odd and out of character. Althea did not open up to Morgan and Alicia. It is a little odd that June is prying and asking questions. And imagine the guilt. Imagine the guilt that Althea would have knowing she's the reason that June died. Well, that's a good question, Willani. I don't have the answer to that. That's Eric Beach's prediction. Don't blame me for that. He just asked the question and said, what if they're listening? What if they have a way to know what they're talking about? But I think it'd be good. I mean, if they do have a way, look, if they can fly a 100-foot balloon on this TV show, they got to have a way for the bad guys to be eavesdropping somehow. Tom Ferrer says, if fear can't have the best writing, at least it can be entertaining. It needs to be entertaining in a hurry. It needs to get there. And the Commonwealth, hey, we don't know the power of these guys. June of the Commonwealth? No. She's going to say her real name's, I don't know. I can't give her a fourth name. It does have some nice comedy to it. I appreciate the comedy. Don't get me wrong with that. I'm fine with the cool stuff that they do. It's the repetitive speeches that drive me nuts. There was nothing to me. Maybe some of you are different, but there was nothing entertaining to me about all the speeches last week. And in fact, that was a miserable viewing experience for me. When it started out at the beginning and you got Morgan, and all the adults on one side and all the kids, it looked like one of those posters of, I don't know, it's like, I think DC Comics where Superman and all of them are on one side and then all the bad guys are on the other side and they're getting ready to clash. It kind of felt like that. So for me, there was nothing entertaining about the speech that Morgan started out giving. Gushy, thank you so much for that super chat. And Princess Pie going pink mode again for a second time, just giving a point, love and support for the Army and the kittens. My choice, my super chat. Boom. Well, thank you for your support for the Army, and thank you for your support of wonderful kittens as well. Because I have a mission, and it's to save a lot of them. eBeach72 says June goes with CRM. Would the group go look for her? It's a possibility, Eric. I mean, or is she the next to be captured? I mean, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of spin we could put on there. They still got to fly back and have a battle with Logan. It's good points. Good points, though. We want the alligator to come back. Yes. Well, they're going to add some neat things to it. All right, so let me tie in. Look, I don't want to bring back a whole lot of misery. Yeah, actually I do. I'm gonna. You know what? If I had to be miserable through the show, misery loves company. Let's all be miserable together. Let's do this. Just a reminder. The first speech was Morgan. And then we got the Alicia Annie speech. Let's not forget that. That was a very long speech, And at the very end, she did bring up Madison again. I cannot count the amount of times that Alicia refers to Madison and how Madison is her driving force. We get it. We understand that. But, Annie was breaking down. Alicia was not. Then we got the little uplifting moment. I think it was, who's the little kid? Little kid's Dylan. I think the little kid's Dylan. But we had the little touching scene where he took off his glasses and he had to see with his heart to make sure that the plane, they could rebuild it. And there's some story waiting to happen. Some dramatic story that's waiting to happen between Luciana and Dylan. Would you agree? Would you agree that either little Dylan's going to die or Lucy, they're something? One of the two of them is not safe. Because they're in a lot of scenes together. All right, and then the only speech that was remotely acceptable in the whole episode, the only one that should have been allowed to stay out of the 5 or 6 speeches, in my mind, is the John Dwight speech. With the Scrabble pieces and the rings. It might have been a little bit more. I would have loved to hear a couple Negan references in there. But other than that, because I thought that advanced the story, Tom Ferrer says the alligator is going to eat Annie, and no, the alligator's somewhere else. They flew away from the alligator, Tom. And then, how many people are happy that John lied to Dwight? That thought it was good writing? Julia says, I think it fits John's character. See, I'm okay with it. I disagree. I don't think it fits John's character. And that's why I liked it. Or I guess that's why I'm okay with it. Is because John comes across as this good-hearted, caring for people, but he didn't have the heart to tell him the truth. He is. He's protecting his hope. But I liked it because I don't think it's a story that's going to die with John. I think it's going to be a central part of the plot. It's going to, there's going to be some punishment dished out because of it. Cheryl Tuck says, are the helicopters related to season 1? It's a good question. I don't think so. I mean, the governor had a helicopter. They had helicopters in Atlanta. I think it's a different group. But I think it's a fair question. Tom, what if the gator followed? The gator, what, did the gator jump on the back of that plane, Tom? It's a good question. I mean, I guess the gator could have sensed where they were going. Or, you know what? If Tom, if you want Fear the Walking Dead coincidence, the Walker NATO picked up the gator and dropped it in the radiation. Oh, could you imagine that? Instead of Sharknado, you got a Walker NATO, a Walker NATO with an alligator that lands in a radioactive forest. You can't write this anymore. So it'd be a radioactive alligator that is part of a twister. Radio Gator NATO. Can't beat that. That is going to be, that will be the season finale. That's going to be what they're up against. You know what? A week ago, we didn't think that we could get 100-foot flying hot air beer balloons. And we got that. So I'm not going to rule out anything. I mean, I guess my other question is, this is not a small balloon. So to forget that they had this all along until they saw that. Look, I know there's been a lot of other drama, and there's Daniel, and there's a plane, a whole lot of other stuff. But I would just say the group needs to check their inventory every once in a while. Tom Ferrer, Radio Gator NATO, don't play. So how many people think that there's some other things out there that maybe Jim was stashing? Some guns, clean pair of socks, some Tootsie Pops. I don't know. You don't know. I mean, if this thing's back there, I certainly would want to. Somebody needs to be in charge of inventory. They need a Denise. We have not had a good person. Kel is so good with the ledger. Like Kel is 999 Army's version of Denise. But I don't think The Walking Dead has had a good inventory manager in a long time. Rams says, what if John meets Sherry before Morgan, but she gave him a different name? What if one of them finds Sherry and she says, look, that dude has been stalking me for like the last year. Can you not tell him I'm here? No. I am very interested in where Sherry is and whether she's alive. Tom, why are we bringing up spiders? Why does that even have to be a part of our stream? You know I don't like spiders. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't even, it was Olivia. My bad. I guess, I was thinking about Dwight and shooting Denise, and I got too excited. Yeah, my apologies. Kel is our version of Olivia. And that's what we need. And Olivia was taken out by a rot. And it was It was the second most egregious thing that a rot ever did, was kill Olivia. The first most egregious thing she ever did was put that scar on Rosita's I would never forgive her for that. That was crossing the line. But yeah, the inventory was very well kept back then, and I think the group needs to go back through inventory. Yeah, Rosita was. She was like, cut me, cut me. She lifted her face up. Scars look cool. Yeah, Amy, you know, Arat had 3 major sins. It was the third worst was what she did at Oceanside. The second worst was shooting Olivia, and the first was scarring Rosita. That just crossed the line. I told you guys it's going to be light tonight, so huge letdown. But next week, I'm pretty excited about what's going to happen next week. I mean, I don't want Fear to keep giving us these bad filler episodes with a whole lot of dialogue just so we appreciate next week a little bit more. I don't think that's good business practices, but I do. And in fairness, I think Eric Kane's article was funny. It was well written. But I'm sure deep down inside, Eric's a fan of the show because you could tell by the amount of detail he put in. There was a lot of sarcasm, but certainly he's a fan of the history of the show and the backstory as well. So it's certainly going to get better. And as Tom said, we need more of a skid mark story. Maybe a skid mark backstory would tie it all together. Honestly, I would have rather had a skid mark backstory than 3 of the 5 speeches that they showed. I think the one... All right, so I'm going to ask you guys, what was, before we close this stream, because we're about an hour, what was the worst speech or worst interaction of the show last week? Give me the worst one. Because I haven't even mentioned my worst one yet. Lucy? That is my worst as well, Eric. Julia says the opening speech. Roxanne says Alicia and the kid. Sarah and Strand. Mine was Grace and Morgan. Because I swear to you, they had almost the exact same conversation back at the camp. Where Morgan just said, come join us. I can't. You know, those people couldn't get out of the reactor. They died for me, and I have to go make this right. And you know, the words were different this week, but it's pretty much the same thing. I only got one suit. I got to go. And then Morgan's like, I don't care. I'm going in with no suit. Fluff. Sorry to interrupt, boss. I found out earlier today that I won't need surgery for my arm, and my work give me a few weeks of paid vacation. Shout out to Fluff, the flamethrower. Fluff is well. He's going to have both of his arms to hold those flamethrowers. And better yet, he's going to be off work for a few weeks, so he's going to be spending a little bit more time with the Army. So it's good news, Fluff. I'm glad there's no surgery involved, and glad you're going to be here with us. I think you missed a couple streams. You had a few people that that were anxious to get you back. So Amy says, where is home for this group? Well, I think home is going to be their denim factory. Once they get out, they're going to want to go back and have a little conversation with Logan, and I don't think it's going to go over really well. I think Logan at this point says, look, you guys flew away. I got my spot. All is good. I turned Strand away and everybody else away when they came the second time. So the third time, I think that Logan is going to turn into the villain. He's going to make a point. And with that, everybody, we're going to wind the stream down. We're an hour and 5 minutes. Let me say once again that, my apologies for last night. You guys know I always hate to have to reschedule streams. But since we weren't doing random things, this was a good night to go ahead and do the makeup stream. We will be back tomorrow night with our bold predictions, talking a little bit of Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. Actually, tomorrow night might be, I think we're going to do Walking Dead storyline tomorrow. Let's get away from Fear for a day, get into Walking Dead, talk about what we think is going to happen Season 10, some of the rumors that are out there as well. Then on Thursday, we'll get into this week's episode, which is going to be, I think it's going to be really good. We'll have Freestyle Friday this Friday, so we're going to be action-packed all week long. We're going to give away a few more Kills coins tomorrow night, and in about 3 weeks, we'll pick back up with random things. We usually do 4 episodes, then we take about a month off, and then we do another 4 episodes, so on and so forth. So that's kind of like the history of our channel. We had a great time with random things the last 4 weeks. We added a couple new segments to it that we weren't doing previously, and I think you guys had a lot of fun with it. So we're always open to more suggestions, more trivia, more games. You'll see a little bit more and more of that, and we will incorporate a little bit of that in our Freestyle Friday as well. So tune in tomorrow night at 9:30. We're going to give away a few more Kills coins. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Once again, special shout out to all the Patreons. Patreons are listed on that big banner in the top left-hand corner. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. If you guys want to become a patron, there's a link down below. I've said this many times. Patreon is a third-party website. They're my partners. I am going to post a survey tomorrow, so I'm going to get a little bit more interaction. I want to get some opinions on some things that are going to happen, but Patreons are truly some of my partners with content. Also, you guys can see the channel members, 6-month members up there. We got some longevity. Everybody that is a member is the green team. They get custom emojis. Not from a third-party website. It's through YouTube. But you guys do get the emojis, and you do get the color coding and all that stuff. So, appreciate everything that you guys do as well. The moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, thank you for everything that you guys do. And the super chatters tonight, keeping it fresh, keeping it exciting, and your contributions to the channel. Princess Pie going double pink tonight. And Tom Bug Ferreira, always a pleasure. So thanks to all the super chatters as well. Good interaction. And I'm going to do one more thing. Look, I got another 2 minutes. So give me a whole bunch of 999s in this stream because I want to give as many shout-outs I possibly can. So let's get more people included that we can do. And no matter how big we grow, we're always going to take a stream or 2 per week and just give some individual shout-outs. So I want to say what's up to Kimberly G, Viola McGowan, Cheryl and Tuck, thank you. Christopher James, Coma Drug, Dark Star, J Twin Tour, Rebecca Mendez, Ellis Smith, thank you, Ellis. Princess Pie, Christmas Girl, Karen Reif, Julia Drums, thank you. Gina Crockett, Crystal Singer Chick Gore, Chris Rainig. And also, can you guys on the green team do me a favor? I don't want to forget our 2 super fans of the month. You guys can flash those emojis while I'm doing a few shout outs, because we do have Valar as one of our super fans, and we also have Lisa Khaleesi. Double super fans. Wide-Eyed Bry, thank you for being here. Amy Ferrero, Kimberly M, Julia Muse, thank you. Thank you, Alani. Appreciate you as well. Will the Bill just jumped in the Will the Bill went from the green team. He joined the pink team all of a sudden. Good night, Army. 99 ladies to flowers. Fellas, a little thumbs up. And Kills. A little bit of luck. I'll catch the playback. I missed a lot. Thank you. Hey, appreciate Will the Bill, and certainly in the playback, just interact like it's live. Joyce Andrews, thank you. Catface Killer, thank you for being here. And also one additional shout out for our 2 newest members, Catface Killer and also Cheryl Tuck. So thank you so much. We're growing our membership. We might be close to that other emoji. I think we might be within 1 or 2. I'll check before tomorrow night's stream. We've went back and forth because we've added a couple. We lost a couple members, and I think we have to get to 75. We were like at 73, and then we dropped back to about 69. We might be within 1 or 2. So if we unlock that other emoji, I'll do a special surprise emoji later on in the week. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate everything that you guys do, and I will see you all tomorrow night at 9:30. Had a lot of fun with you guys, a lot of good laughs. And, one more shout-out to Eric Kane from Forbes Magazine. Hilarious article. So hopefully you guys get a chance to check that out as well. Talk to you later. Peace.